What up, though? Welcome to the Brian Onrea podcast. I'm Brian Onrea, episode 38. We here. I know it's been a minute, you know what I'm saying? I feel like Timberland and Rakim. It's been a long time. I shouldn't have left you without a dope rhyme and stuff too. You know what I'm saying? I feel like it's been too long. I apologize for that, man. We back on it, you know what I'm saying? We back on it. Episode number 38. And you know, I always like to start the podcast out with some positive motivation, man. So let me just hit you with the positive motivation, man. It don't matter if you have some kind of delays. It don't matter if you have setbacks. Never give up your mission. Never give up the plan. You know, my goal with this podcast is to motivate, inspire, have some good, engaging conversation, have some good, engaging back and forth with y'all. So that's my mission. If I hit a couple roadblocks or a couple speed bumps, sometimes it may take a little while to get an episode out. I can either quit or I can get back on the wagon. You know what I'm saying? Get back on the bike, get back on the motorcycle and keep going. I chose not to quit, man. I'm gonna press through. So sorry about the delay, but I'm back. And don't let nothing, hold you back. Don't let any kind of delays, any kind of setbacks stop you from what you're trying to do. You feel what I'm saying? Now, speaking of not letting nobody stop them, let's get right into the topics, man. New music. Let's talk about Eminem dropping his single, Houdini. Now, I told you all a few months back, Eminem had announced his new album, The Death of Slim Shady. You know what I'm saying? And we were all anticipating that album. We're still anticipating that album. The first single from that is Houdini that dropped last week. Real dope song, man. Now, the song Houdini samples the Steve Miller Band's Abracadabra. That song is from the 80s, I believe. You know what I'm saying? To me, it was a brilliant move. The Abracadabra song by the Steve Miller Band is such an Eminem type of sample. You know what I'm saying? So, of course, he sampled that song, man. This song reminds me of Without Me, with the real Slim Shady, Please Stand Up, or Just Lose It. All the silly videos we put on the Robin costume, and Dr. Dre put on the Batman and in the car. It's a throwback to that era. If you like that version of Eminem, if you love those singles, you will love this album. You will love the single Houdini. It sounds like the old Eminem a lot, as far as him just, ruffling feathers rather. Speaking of ruffling feathers, right out the gate, like the first verse, he talks about Megan Thee Stallion with the whole, will I have a shot at her feet? Now, he's making a play on words with like a shot at a feature, and I guess feature's called feet. I've never called feature feet, F-E-A-T. I've never did that before. Of course, it says featuring. I always said featuring, even though it says feet on a F-E-A-T. So he's saying, will I have a shot at her feet? At her feet. I don't know what it was. To me, that line didn't come off as smooth as it could have. Nonetheless, a lot of Megan Thee Stallion fans and a lot of feminists was getting mad at him, and you kind of proving this point. Eminem is gonna say what he want to say, when he want to say it, how he wants to say it. At least the old Slim Shady would. And the whole concept of this song and video is Slim Shady from the early 2000s stepping in 20 years later and like, what's going on? What's up with all this cancel culture? Now, if you recall, I'm old enough to recall. I'm in my 40s. I remember 20 years ago how there was outrage at Eminem whenever he would put these songs out. They'll be outraged at him. They'll be like mad. There wasn't cancel culture back then, but there was protest culture. They were protest the mess out of you. And he got protested for his lines, you know what I'm saying? He talked about everybody from Christopher Reeves, to like the boy bands, the Christina Aguilera's, Britney Spears, Fred Durst. He talked about everybody. Michael Jackson, like he just, he went in, you know what I'm saying? I thought it was funny. The one R. Kelly line, now I didn't even get the R. Kelly line at first. I had to listen to it again. I thought he was saying Black Eyed Peas, like the group Black Eyed Peas. He was saying Black Guy Peas, like R. Kelly. Very funny, and I didn't get it at first. The video was cool. Of course, he had Dr. Dre in the video. A lot of cameos though. The homie Denon Porter was in there. 50 Cent was in there. The Alchemist was in there. Pete Davidson came in at the end. Just a very funny video. I think the song is doing real well. It got like the most streams of any, song in one day all year, I believe. It's number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100 charts this week. You know what I'm saying? Behind Post Malone. So the song is doing good. Even the Steve Miller Band. Steve Miller wrote a long thank you to Eminem on his Instagram page. And I bet he is thankful because that song was going to make him a lot of money because, he's a writer on the song. He's a writer. It's his song. So he's gonna be a writer on the Houdini song. So he's gonna make a lot of money. If he got his publishing correct, if he owns his publishing, he's gonna make a whole lot of money. So shout out to Eminem. That song is dope. Are you anticipating the album even more? I am. Speaking of which, I think it was Billboard magazine caused a little stir because they, I think, accidentally dropped Eminem's release date for his new album. They were talking about the album. They were talking about the Houdini song, and they're talking about the upcoming albums. And they put July the 5th or July the 6th, whatever, that weekend. They put it in parentheses, as if to say the album's coming out, on that date. I hope it does come out on that day because I don't like when people push back their albums too long. And they were saying that because Billboard leaked this release date, that Eminem was going to push his album back even further because of that. I hope not. Just come out with it. Don't push it back. Just come out with the album. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully it comes out then. And I'm anticipating, all the production. Because I know that if Eminem is putting this pop record out, right, he's going to have plenty for the hip hop heads on the album. So I'm just looking forward to it. I can't wait for it. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, Houdini is out. You know what I'm saying? Check that out. Let me know in the comments what you think about it. And speaking of Eminem produced this show. Him and his manager, Paul Rosenberg, produced this show on NBC about the opening of the Michigan Central Station. Now, the Michigan Central Station is an old train station that was located in Detroit that was kind of abandoned for decades. So much so that it was like an eyesore. And a couple of years ago, they decided to, I think Ford Motor Company, as well as the city of Detroit, decided to redo the Grand Central Station and like remodel it, renovate it, and open it back up again. And to celebrate the grand opening, they did a big concert that Eminem and Paul Rosenberg produced. And it was streamed live on NBC, and it's going to be streaming again, I think, this weekend. But as a Detroiter, it's really dope. But as an Eminem fan, if you're a fan of music, he had Diana Ross perform, Fantasia, Big Sean, Jack White, who's also from Detroit, Diana Ross from Detroit as well, Slum Village. Who else performed? A lot of people performed. And then Eminem closed the show out. And he tore it down, man. My favorite part was when he brought out Trick Trick. He brought out Trick Trick to do Welcome to Detroit. You know what I'm saying? And everybody talking about Trick Trick did the spin, the infamous spin, right? He's rapping, welcome to Detroit. I say, welcome to Detroit City. I say, welcome to Detroit City. All my gangsters and all my thugs. Real dope song. Fun fact, when that song came out almost 20 years ago, I didn't like the song that much, but it grew on me. Now the song is like a classic. That just shows you how good music will last the test of time. But yeah, Trick Trick. He said, my name is Trick Trick, and he did the spin. Oh man, shout out to Trick Trick, man. That was so dope, man. But everybody was having fun with that spin, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to Trick Trick, man. What else was I gonna say? Oh yeah, so he also had Jelly Roll. Jelly Roll came on and he performed on the concert, but he came on and he did Sing for the Moment by Eminem. Real dope. And shout out to Jelly Roll. He had on his Detroit Tigers hat. He knew where he was, you know what I'm saying? I know he's from Nashville, but he came there with the Detroit Tigers hat, did his thing, you know what I'm saying? Overall, real good performance, man. If you missed it, it's coming again on NBC. I think you can go on Peacock and stream it. But shout out to Eminem, shout out to the Michigan Central Station, shout out to Detroit, you know what I'm saying? That's my new music report, you feel me? Also this weekend, I saw Bad Boys 4, Bad Boys Ride or Die with Will Smith and Martin Lawrence. And man, it was good. It was like real good, man. It was like one of the best ones. Like part 3 was real good too. Part 4, man, is right up there with it, man. Real good movie, man. A lot of action. You know what I'm saying? They had the first person shooter. It's part of the movie. I'm sure some of y'all seen Will Smith behind the scenes filming with a camera in front of him. But he did the first person shooter, man, like the Call of Duty. That was real dope. Action. A lot of the returning characters. You know, Vanessa Hudgens' character came back. The guy who played Armando, I think that was his name. I don't want to spoil part 3, but one of the villains in part 3 who turned like, I don't want to spoil that, but he was back in part 4. A lot of cameos. DJ Khaled had another cameo. It was real funny. Jordan Lucas was in there. Tiffany Haddish had a small role. They brought John Sally back. John Sally came back. And John Sally was in part 1 and 2. Wasn't in part 3. Came back for part 4. He did real good too. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to John Sally. Overall, good movie, man. I think it did almost 60 million domestically at the box office. It did over 100 million internationally. When you add them together, I think it was like 40-something million internationally. Over 100 million total. So it's doing good at the box office, man. Shout out to them. Bad Boys Ride or Die. Will Smith and Martin Lawrence, they literally worked hard on this press run. I got to give a shout out to both of them because they went everywhere. As a matter of fact, I'm thinking about doing a separate interview to talk about the Will Smith interviews because Will Smith did a lot of press and he put out a lot of good quotes in this press run, man. But it was real good. They worked real hard, man. And one thing from the press run that I noticed is that everybody was talking about Martin Lawrence because there's one scene where Martin Lawrence and Will Smith were, I think they were in Mexico, and they were on a balcony, and it appears that Will Smith was kind of leading Martin Lawrence out, and he was had a stroke or something like that, and everybody was saying, "Oh, he had a stroke, pray for Martin Lawrence," and Martin Lawrence had to come out and say, "Look, man, cut it out. I didn't have a stroke. I'm fine. I'm healthy."
Saying that we look good and that I look good because there's a rumor out there that I had a stroke, man. Man. That's totally not true. So I just want to clear that up. But I thank everybody for the concern and the love and just thank you. But Marty's all good.
Marty's all right.
Feeling good. And I think that he's older. He got a little more weight on him. His speech is still good, but it's not like it was before. So they're reading too much into it, but Martin Lawrence said from his own mouth that he's fine, so we got to cut it out. If you're concerned about him, pray for him, but cut out all the rumors that we had a stroke. That's all that stuff is real dangerous. Just say that kind of stuff. So shout out to Martin Lawrence, man. I want to talk about Will Smith too because Will Smith, had the infamous Oscar slap of Chris Rock, and I'm a big Chris Rock fan. Chris Rock is my favorite comedian of all time. So I kind of wasn't feeling Will Smith at the time. But Will Smith apologized to Chris Rock publicly, and a lot of time has passed, man. I think that it's safe to say that Will Smith kind of redeemed himself. Will Smith is back in good graces now. He's back on top. Now, some people gonna always not like him because of what he did. A lot of times you can make a mistake, and no matter how much you redeem yourself, there's gonna still be some people to not like you. Chris Brown, for example. Chris Brown's doing really well. Chris Brown is on his 11/11 tour, and he's killing it. He's got fans everywhere, but there's going to be a certain segment of people that don't rock with him, which is why a lot of big brands don't want to deal with him. And I think we should forgive Chris Brown, but guess what? It's consequences. So there's going to always be people who not like Will Smith because of what he did, but I think for the most part, Will Smith is back. You know what I'm saying? Speaking of that, my man Stephen A. Smith, who been tripping lately. Stephen A. Smith went on a little monologue on his podcast, the Stephen A. Smith Show, talking about how he can't see Bad Boys, and so Will Smith apologizes to the black community.
At the very least, the black community, especially, deserves seeing Will Smith sit down. I don't care if it's with the Breakfast Club. I don't care if it's with Oprah, because it ain't gonna be me, right? You ain't gonna sit down with me, because some questions gonna get asked, okay? But I don't care who it's with. You gotta provide an explanation as to why that happened. And even though we weren't the ones that were slapped literally, ladies and gentlemen, figuratively, the black community was slapped. Will Smith apologized. I'm not saying he even has to apologize. I'm saying that while I watch him and Martin Lawrence promoting this movie, he has to sit down. But you gotta have a conversation as to why you did that. And when you're apologizing, and when you're getting emotional, and when you're thinking about all the lives or the people that you've affected, it's primarily us as black people who have loved and supported you.
It's kind of ridiculous. First of all, Will Smith don't owe nobody an apology. But guess what? He did apologize. He apologized to everybody publicly. So what is Stephen A. Smith talking about? He apologized. He went on Instagram Live and apologized. Look, Chris Rock probably gonna still be mad. And maybe Chris Rock family I think Tony Rock's brother gonna be mad. Outside of that, gotta let it go, man. Gotta let it go. I think it's crazy to say Will Smith should apologize again. He already apologized. He laid low. He did his thing, and now he's back. So ain't nobody perfect. The man made a mistake. Leave it alone, man. Leave it alone. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I think even Chris Rock moving on. Chris Rock did his comedy special. He went in on him and Jada. Okay, he got his lick back. So now I think it should be over, period. Even for Chris Rock to say something again would be kind of corny. But if anything, he got a right to. But outside of Chris Rock, man, everybody should just chill, bro. Let it go. Forgive him and move on. You know what I'm saying? That's what I got to say about that, man. You know. All right, we still good, man. Let's talk some sports, man. Let's talk boxing first, man. Deontay Wilder got knocked out last week. And Deontay Wilder, man, was such an electrifying boxer, man. And he's kind of going out bad, man. I mean, he got, Tyson Fury whooped him up a couple times real bad. In their trilogy, they had 3 fights. And it's just sad to see him go out like this, man. And then on top of that, his fiance is accusing him of domestic violence, saying that he choked her. And it's just looking real bad, man. I hope whatever's going on with Deontay Wilder, let's pray for him, pray for his family, his fiance, their children, and just pray that they get it together. That he get it together, man. And he can, if his career is over, that he can have a good rest of his life. If not, he can regroup and end his career the right way on his terms, because it ain't looking too good, man. And also getting whooped up in the boxing ring is Adrian Broner, man. Before the fight, I forgot who he fought. He fought some guy that was painting his fingernails, and he was talking about the kid. The guy painting his fingernails, and he was talking about how he was going to shoot him if he acted wrong, and he was shooters, and how he got bodies, and it's just, he was talking
Don't
crazy.
Play no games, because my got guns with them, bro. And I'm dead serious, bro. And all I got to do is point, and they gonna blow. And I'm dead serious, bro. Nigga. And me and my nigga, we done already beat bodies, and they still looking for me. And every charge been acquitted, my. So don't come up here playing. Don't make no false moves. I'm not playing. I'm not playing. I will smack the shit you, my. For real. I'm not playing. I'm not here to play.
And then he got knocked out too. He lost his tooth. He got knocked out and lost the fight. I don't know what's going on, man, in boxing, man. Mike Tyson is like almost 60. He's fighting Jake Paul. He had a medical emergency on a plane, and he had to push that fight. But he had ulcers. Look, if you almost 60 years old having ulcers, you should not be fighting. I know it's an exhibition, but I do not want to see Mike Tyson fight Jake Paul. Having said that, I'll probably watch it. I think it's coming on Netflix. I'll probably watch it, but I don't think they should fight. I think Mike Tyson should just train fighters and do his podcast, but I don't like him fighting. But of course, I'm probably gonna watch, especially if it's for free on Netflix. I'm definitely probably gonna watch, which is crazy, man. WNBA, man. Caitlin Clark, man, the rookie phenom is just going crazy. Angel Reese is going crazy, and everybody's still trying to pit Caitlin Clark versus Angel Reese. Caitlin Clark took a couple hard fouls. I think the girl from Chicago checked her, knocked her down, and Angel Reese was clapping, and they still trying to put them two against each other, man. Cut it out, man. Caitlin Clark is balling, though. She's averaging 16.8 points a game, 5 rebounds, 6 assists. So she's doing her part. Angel Reese is averaging 11 points and 9 rebounds. That's not bad. You know what I'm saying? They say Caitlin Clark is leading the league in turnovers, which is bad, but she's literally getting double and triple teamed every time he touches the ball. Literally. So of course she gonna have some turnovers, because they own her. They own her like right on rice. And for her to be averaging 17 points is pretty good, man. She had a 30-point game against the Mystics the other day. And hopefully I can finish this podcast and get my workout in before 7 o'clock so I can watch her play tonight against Connecticut. Now Connecticut is I think they still undefeated, the Connecticut Suns, so that's not gonna be too good on Caitlin Clark tonight. But shout out to the WNBA, man. I've been locked in. I've watched more WNBA this season than I have since the first season. I was in high school or middle school, I think high school, when the WNBA first started. You know what I'm saying? And I literally watched that whole first season. I was a big fan of the Houston Comets. Cynthia Cooper is my all-time favorite women's basketball player. So I watched it big. Then I just kind of stopped watching. Kind of got boring to me. Which, let me get to my theory too. Let me get to my theory about why the WNBA is successful now. The The WNBA is successful now because of Caitlin Clark. Period. Just put it out there and let me tell you why. And it has very little to do with the fact that Caitlin Clark is white. The fact that Caitlin Clark is a white woman has a little bit to do with why it's so popular, but it's bigger than that. It's bigger than her race. Let me explain something to y'all. The WNBA wasn't as popular for a long time because for many, many years, really decades, really, the NBA, Michael Jordan and Dr. J made the NBA popular for their athleticism. The athleticism was the biggest thing in the NBA, and that's the dunking. Jumping out the gym and dunking. Remember the Reebok pumps? The D Brown Reebok pumps? Remember those? Remember the air bubble in the Air Jordan 4, I believe it was? And people like me thought the air bubble meant you could jump higher. It made you jump higher because of the air bubble, right? We all thought that you could jump higher. That's ridiculous, right? We thought that, though. You could jump higher because of the air bubble. Athleticism, the dunk contest, that's what propelled the NBA. But Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Damian Lillard, all the new shooters, but they led by Steph Curry. Steph Curry revolutionized basketball. He made the jump shot, the three-point jump shot, the deep shot way bigger than athleticism. So now we're watching the games for the jump shots just as much, if not more, than the dunks. Now, how does that relate to the women's game? Easy. While basketball was about athleticism and dunking, you got very, very little dunks in the WNBA. Very little. Not a lot of dunking at all. Maybe, Brittany Griner, I think Lisa Leslie dunked, but not a lot of dunks. And then when they did dunk, it wasn't real spectacular. So watching that product wasn't as good as watching the men's product. However, now that the jump shot and the logo three-pointer is popular, that's something that women can do. They can shoot the ball deep. And here comes along Caitlin Clark with like that Steph Curry range. She's shooting from deep. And we love that. We love to see that. That's the reason why she's so popular. Because she's the leading scorer in NCAA history. Because she can shoot the lights out. That's why she's the most popular thing going right now. That's why the WNBA is crazy. Because we want to see her shoot that thing. Shoot it the lights out. She reminds me a lot of Steph Curry. You know what I'm saying? She come off of screens. She be shooting like sideways, halfway, swish. So the fact that she's white, it does play a role, but it's the fact that she can shoot what makes her so popular. There it is, y'all. I solved the mystery. So we can stop with all this race stuff with the black girl, Angel Reese versus Caitlin Clark. It's not about the race. It's about the shooting. And people like Angel Reese, who was her rival, and they played in the finals a couple years ago when LSU won. They played again, I think in the Final Four, right before the Final Four, they played again this year. So that rivalry has helped. So Angel Reese has been popular too. That's helped. And I do agree with everybody saying that, look, Caitlin Clark is the reason y'all popular. And I agree. She's the reason why. Now, the other players are co-stars. They're secondary reasons, but they ain't the main reason. The main reason is Caitlin Clark, and the main reason is because she can shoot the lights out. It's all about shooting. Basketball is about shooting. The girls can shoot. WNBA has become more popular. Simple as that, man. Simple as that. I'll move on, though, man. The NBA Finals is going on. Boston versus Dallas. I picked Dallas to win, but Boston is up 2-0 and looking too good. All I know is that Dallas better win these next two games or they're in big trouble. Going back to Dallas, man. Kyrie Irving is only averaging 14 points. He got to do better, and he will do better. And I still think Dallas got a chance. But, man, that's crazy, man. You know what I'm saying? Not a lot about that. I want to talk about something real important before I get out of here, man. Something very, 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 very important to me, man. And that's mental health. I saw Jabari Parker. Jabari Parker he is a basketball player from Chicago. I remember Jabari Parker in high school. I'm aging myself now. But I remember he's in high school. He went to Duke, but Michigan State recruited him heavily. He had to choose between Michigan State and Duke. Those are the main two schools, and he chose Duke. Played, I think, a year there. Went to the NBA. The number 2 overall pick behind Andrew Wiggins. He got picked by the Milwaukee Bucks. And his NBA career didn't quite go as planned. He got injured a lot. And Milwaukee drafted Giannis too around the same time, and Giannis took off. Jabari Parker didn't take off, and he bounced around the NBA a few times, and now he's playing over, I think in Barcelona. He's playing overseas now. And I saw this clip, man, where the reporter asked him, how it feels playing overseas for your whole first year. And he gave an emotional response, man.
This first year outside United States.
Yeah.
In terms of basketball and in terms of life. What's wrong, boy? Are you okay? Do you want to stop? Let's talk later.
It kind of hurt me to see that, man, because I see a man hurting. And a lot of times, men, we hurt, man. And when we show emotion, we get talked about for showing emotion, But even deeper than that, though, as a man, you want to, man, woman, whatever gender, but especially as a man, you want to fulfill your dreams. And when you don't fulfill your dreams, and when you do fulfill your dreams, but you just don't quite make it as far as you wanted to make it, and you're struggling to make it, it can really hurt. It can really hurt, man. And I seen a man there that was just hurt because he had to play overseas instead of the NBA. His NBA career didn't go how he wanted it to go. Now he's playing overseas, and he's reflecting on it, and it's just hurting him, man. I send my heart, I send my prayers to him. I already prayed for him already. But my heart goes out to him, man. And my heart goes out to anybody who maybe their dream didn't go right. Maybe their dream failed, or maybe they failed at something, or something didn't quite go the way they wanted it to go. It's never too late, number one. Even in Jabari Parker case, he's still playing overseas, and he can still come back to play in the NBA. It's not too late for that, but you gotta make lemons out of lemonade, number one. Number two, you gotta be thankful. Jabari Parker did play many years in the NBA, made a lot of money in the NBA, had some good games. So he's gotta just dig deep and just be thankful for what he does have, A lot of times when we get disappointed in ourselves, we get depressed, we get disappointed in our lives, we gotta take inventory on what we have to be thankful for. I'm alive, I'm playing the sport I love, I'm making money, and that young man has the whole rest of his life ahead of him. So, hopefully he can bounce back from that pain he's going through, man, because you could tell it's some pain, you know what I'm saying? And I don't know, man, it's just, I want to just let y'all know, man, keep fighting. You may be down, maybe your plans, maybe you know for a fact that the God, the universe, whoever you believe in, gave you a vision, and maybe it's not happening yet, or maybe it might have seemed like it's failing, and it hurts. I get it, but hang in there, man. Hang in there. Jabari Parker, I've been there. I've been where he is, man. Maybe not to the tune of millions of dollars like he made, but I've had some success in life and failed at some things. It's not good, but you got to keep going, man. It's always light at the end of the tunnel. If you're alive, it's never too late to fulfill your dreams. And when you play in the sport, man, it's not forever. It's only for a certain period of time in your life. You got to look forward to the whole rest of your life, man. So if you're out there, man, fighting for a dream, keep fighting. Don't be afraid to just be thankful for where you at. Maybe what you called to do is different than what you thought. Maybe it's time to pivot and go somewhere else and do something else. I don't know, man, but wherever you are, man, keep fighting. I love you. Spread love, not hate. You know what I'm saying? Tell somebody you love them today. You know what I'm saying? Don't be a hater. Be a congratulator. You feel me? And we all gonna win. You gonna win, and I'm gonna win, because we're never gonna give up, man. We're never gonna give up. We're gonna keep fighting. This is the Brian Onrea Podcast, episode 38. The Brian Onrea Podcast, episode 38. I'm out of here. Let's get it.